Welcome to all of you. Welcome back. Welcome to the new faces that I have yet to meet. I'm so glad you're here. Marge Piercy tells us that connections are made in the dark, deep underground, in the dirt, where trees talk to one another through their roots and hold their communities safe from drought and fire and flood. Connections are made through water that surrounds us, above us in the clouds, beneath us in the water table, and on days like today, all around us in the air as rain. We are connected by water because we are water. Our bodies are made up of 90% water and some other assorted minerals and hydrocarbons. We are connected by more than water, though. We are connected by our experiences, by the times we live in, and by the things we witness and feel. New things bring disruption and grief. Even good new things bring grief, because change is difficult. Now, for some, it's easier to downplay the disruption and ignore it than to wade through the muck of complex feelings. And for others, that avoidance feels like a dismissal of their painful experience. We have seen this illustrated in 1,000 ways this week with the death of the Queen. For everyone, moving forward is a challenge. As I mentioned at the beginning of the water ceremony, the past few years have been intense. They've been painful and challenging. They have exposed some of the worst and the best in our neighbors and friends. And it has been deeply upsetting and unsettling. And these experiences connect us like water. They are in the air we breathe, laden with the water that surrounds us and is in us. People who treat trauma survivors are extra busy of late, dealing with individuals and systems that are trying to come out on the other side of the national trauma that has been the last 4 or 5 years. Marginalized people have been targeted for violence. We have watched children taken from their families at the border. We have seen immigrants and refugees treated in utterly inhuman ways. And these are all traumas. And we experience them as such, even when we do not experience them directly. We somehow got used to thousands of people dying each day from a pandemic that some of our neighbors still believe is fictitious. We watched national leaders ignore good science and let people die. For those who trust systems to support people, this was not just violence of physical harm done, but the complex emotional trauma of betrayal of trust. We trusted you to keep us safe, and you didn't. That is a kind of complex trauma that is experienced often by children in abusive households, people in abusive relationships, or those who have been victimized by religious communities. And it connects us like water to each other, to the world. This generation, and by generation, I don't mean people born between here and here. I mean those of us who are living through this era in time will be affected by our experience in the same way my grandmother's generation was affected by the Great Depression. It is on a scale like that. This is a cohort that will stockpile toilet paper instead of tinfoil and string. This is a group that knows the American dream to be a lie. This is the group that will have a less secure life than the generations before it. And it connects us all like water. Because what hurts you hurts me. What hurts each of us individually hurts us collectively. Because ripples in water flow through people as well. We are not unlike stringed instruments that will hum in resonance when the violin next to us is played. We are connected. Water does that to us. And if we are going to come out on the other side of this decade or whatever this thing is, in any kind of healthy condition, we're going to have to rely on each other for support as we work through what has happened and is continuing to happen. The good news is that we are here together. Nearly 50 people in this room, a dozen or more on the line. We are here together in this space, physical and electronic, gathered because we care about each other and committed to growth. Physicists tell us that matter cannot be created nor destroyed. All that was created in the time of the Big Bang is still here. Through millions of years, our planet has evolved, all the while maintaining the same number of atoms of iron, uranium, magnesium, and lead. The atoms that made up the dinosaurs now make up our current world. Some of them, granted, have been turned into a fossil fuel. But some of those atoms joined up with others to make new molecules of the bits that make up our cells, and the microscopic bits of plants and dirt and animals and water. We are connected like water. We're connected to each other, to the past, to the present where we are, and to our shared future. We are all connected like water. Close this morning with a short reading from Khalil Gibran. It's called Fear. It is said that before entering the sea, a river trembles with fear. She looks back at the path she has traveled, from the peaks of the mountains, the long, winding road crossing forests and villages, and in front of her she sees an ocean so vast that to enter there seems nothing more than to disappear forever. But there is no other way. The river cannot go back. Nobody can go back. To go back is impossible in existence. The river needs to take the risk of entering the ocean, because only then will fear disappear, because that's when the river will know it's not about disappearing into the ocean, but of becoming the ocean. Amen. Now I invite you all to rise, embody your spirit, and join in singing our closing hymn.